Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. All right, we getting started again in part 2. Got a wonderful class prepared for the family today.
Getting started again in part
Wonderful
2.
class. Creator willing, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be insightful. It's going to be informational full. See, we got so many Hebrews. Informational full, yeah. We got so many Hebrew Israelites today that knows how to do this thing and knows all the history of Israel and knows everything about our people, that these type of classes is not really educating them. But there's a lot of Israel, a vast majority of Israel, who don't know these things, who don't know a whole lot of the things that we're about to talk about today. We're going to get into some stuff. We're covering the book of Genesis, chapter 10 today, the history of the world. And a lot of people don't know that, the history of the world. We're going to go over it, and then we're going to back up. We're going to do it again, because we're going to present it to you in a way that you probably never heard before, unless you've been in Israel for a long time. But it's going to be very informational and information full. Yes, it's going to be like that. So we thank you all for joining us, and thank you all for coming back for the second half of class. May the Most High be praised. But y'all know how we do. We start off the second half by giving praise and honor to the Most High King. We start off the second half by giving commandment of the Most High King unto the family. And then once you present your commandment, you give a little bit of information as to your understanding of the commandment. Y'all got to please forgive me a little bit. I don't know what's trying to take hold of me, some type of cold or something I don't ever get. And I think it's because my wife and I went out the other night to this restaurant and ate some of this food, vegan restaurant. I ate some vegan food, but the next morning when I woke up, my throat was a little scratchy, the back of my neck was a little stiff. And then after that, I've been feeling a little like something trying to get in me. So I put all my herbs in me to try to fight off whatever it was. And I think I need to go do some exercises somewhere to fight the rest of the bacteria out of my body. So if you hear me sniff a little bit or have to blow my nose, it's because that poison is trying to leave my system. So please forgive me ahead of time if I do something like that, a little out of character. All right. So let's rock and roll, family. Let's get started. What you do is you post in the room. What it is, your commandment for the day. You put your commandment in the room. And then after you post your commandment, you give a little brief explanation about the commandment. Now, if you want, you can hit that link right there. You can come on the platform and you can say your commandment vocally, so that everyone will get to hear you and see you, or just hear you when you present your commandment to the world. Okay? So may the Most High be praised. I guess, Iman, we're going to start with you, because you're the first one here. One second. You got it.
Shabbat Shalom, Lekulam, Shabbat Shalom. My law, if you all look behind me on my screen, it says the Shabbat is forever, found in the book of Exodus, chapter 31, verse 13. Of course, I think in my own expression that is self-explanatory, but however, I don't like to say but, however, it does need to be explained, because the Shabbat is forever, and the Most High put it there because I believe, the Most High knows all things that will come to light. So many people in this day will tell you that the Shabbat is no longer present because of the New Testament, or because you can't keep the Shabbat in a foreign land. The Creator put that there in Exodus. He didn't say it was a time for that. He actually said for generation to generation, continuously. So he never put you can't do it if you're in the land of your captivity, or in the land of Babylon, or you can't do it if because a new book has surfaced in the world, the Most High did not put those restrictions with that law. So there's nothing that will ever go above, beyond, below, beside the Most High's word. And that's his word, that the Shabbat is forever. I think the word forever in Hebrew is leolam. So if we read that in the Hebrew, that's what it says. So, Zehu?
Well, that's those Zehu.
Hello, Zehu.
Okay. I have a question.
You have a question? Yeah.
Let me leave my mic on.
Okay.
Well, let me have my comment.
Okay.
All right. So, Yeshli Shiela. Okay.
Okay.
All right. What if you get on an airplane to go to Ohio and the plane crashes across the river and you end up in some distant land and you don't know where you at and you're there for 6 months stranded on a distant island between here and Chicago. You're stranded on a distant island. How do you do the Shabbat? Let me go on mute.
So if I'm stranded on a distant island, hopefully my memory is still there because I would know what day that I flew and arrived, right? So I would just continue counting my days. Because if I don't have a memory, then I wouldn't probably remember about the Shabbat. So I'm thinking my memory is still intact, then I would count my days. If I kind of can't remember my memory, then I would try to count by the sighting of the moon or remembering what the Most High said. There's signs. He has those signs for a reason. The stars, the moon. And so I would lean on to that understanding, which he provided for us.
Okay. One more question.
Okay.
And I'm asking these questions for a reason. I'm asking these questions for a reason. How does one keep the Shabbat? See, it's easy to say keep it. It's just like it's easy to say circumcise your child, but the instructions, the Creator never gave us the instructions on how to do and how to perform the circumcision. So my question to you is, how would one keep the Shabbat day?
So that's a loaded question because many people have their different interpretations of what it means to keep the Shabbat holy or to keep the Shabbat day. And so to me, or how I keep the Shabbat, I do my best to prepare for my day prior to the Shabbat. Like I don't iron clothes on the Shabbat, do not cook on the Shabbat day. There are things that he said to not do, which is cook, to seethe, and seething could be heating up food, whether it's on a fire, electric stove, or microwave. Seething is the process of where steam and things like that come from. So I think all of those are part of the way that you keep the Shabbat. Of course, to keep it holy, in my opinion, is to observe the Shabbat, to make it, all of this is my opinion, to make it the Shabbat about the Creator. It's not about anyone else, obviously. I don't believe in any other, I don't believe in any power or deity. I only believe in the Most High. So that day to me is making sure it's holy with him. And I believe that that relationship is dependent on each person. I cannot demand that people keep the Shabbat the same way I do. But I know the Most High did say no cooking. It's a set apart day. Prepare, that means preparation is key. And I believe if we look at, and he says, do not, and let me just say, he does not say no cooking. He says, do not light a fire or set fire, right? So we have to look at what all that means. And then in the concept of it, we need to look at the Hebrew word that, okay, so it does say no cooking. Okay, right. You're right. Salakli Torah for sure. Keeping that. So I believe that we have to identify and understand the Hebrew of what comes from that word and all it entails. Because if you go into the Jewish community, they believe that you shouldn't turn on lights. They don't drive their car because the ignition, when you hit that ignition, it's a spark. Like it could be so vast on that definition, and everyone's different understanding. Like I see in the comments, different people have different understandings. So for me, and it's something that I've grappled with as I've grown in this walk, because when I first came in this walk, it was like everybody else around me defined what the Shabbat is. And then once I started to research for myself, I realized that most people defined it based off of only what they were taught, but they never kind of researched and understood it for themselves. They just did it by rote, and which, in my opinion, has led to some of them walking away from this life because they didn't actually go into it and completely understand what the Shabbat is. And as Brother Asa did put in there, no selling, no buying. No going to the store, no speaking of business, things of that nature, which I do practice to the best of my ability. And when I do see that happening, if I'm in the midst of it, I try to shut it down to the best of my ability, reminding everyone it is the Shabbat day, which if we just go by those basics that the Creator has placed, as you said in Deuteronomy, then that's keeping the Shabbat according to what the Most High has set. What others have come out of that, their own transliterations from it, can be deemed as adding to his word or taken away. But I think if we just speak on the basics of what the Most High has set before us, then we're keeping the Shabbat day. Exactly. Question?
Let me have that, please. She gave me back the mic, y'all. Okay. Prince always teach. And when Prince teach, he likes to go and give you the unobvious as an understanding, or the, deepness of a thing or a matter. He looks beyond what the average person thinks of and say, hey, this is it. But when Prince get up there and teach, Prince, he points out every little intricate detail and small things that we overlook when we're reading and when we're, expounding on a subject or a topic. So here he goes again. Everything she named was beautiful. And I totally agree with everything that she said. Even Brother Asa put a lot of things in there. I totally agree with them, both of them. They did a good example, presented it to the family. But you know what? Those are all surface or physical things of keeping Shabbat. All physical things. We as a people very rarely even hold into mind the mental things. Like Mr. Otter put in there something about carrying a burden out of your house. See, carrying a burden symbolizes your state of mind. And a lot of us don't understand the state of mind that we are to be in on the Shabbat day. It's the state of mind you should be in on the Shabbat is superior to the state of mind you would be in normally through the rest of the week. Although we wish that same mind that's in you on the Shabbat could be in you through the rest of the week. The discipline, the self-control, the not speaking ill about people, learning to love people, learning to share with people, share what you have, the kindness and the goodness that the Most High has blessed you with, that you're able to bring that to the rest of the people, whoever you come across. Okay. We really deal with the physical aspect of honoring the Creator on the Shabbat primarily. Okay. But we don't deal with the spiritual aspect too often. Not too many people. And he's right. You shouldn't be arguing on the Shabbat. You shouldn't be fighting on the Shabbat. There's a whole lot of things. Your children should be running around playing on the Shabbat. You know, there's a lot of parents who can't control their children, but you can't control them because as you raise them, you let them have their way. And that's not good. Your spirit must be of a certain character, a certain position on the Shabbat day. We have to remember these things. You know, the best place I know that you can read about the Shabbat day and how to keep it holy, it's when the Creator in Psalms, Isaiah 58, 13, something like that. Yeah, somewhere around there. But it really starts at the first verse. He talks about a day that you call a fast. That's right, how you call it a delight. You know, but you're not doing the things and the principles, the underlining principles of the Torah when you do these things. And we have to incorporate Torah in our lives daily. The Creator tells us to meditate on His law day and night. That means every day, and that means every night. We're meditating and focusing on living out the laws of the Almighty. That's how we're supposed to be, for that is the thing that will set us apart from the rest of the nations. And then people will look at us and see how a blessing we are to creation, to humanity. They say those people over there serve the Creator of all creation. Look how they live. Look how they do things. And just like right now, how the rest of the nations look at us and wear their pants sagging, the women wearing wigs, wearing eyelashes, they getting shots in their lips to blow their lips up, shots in their butt to blow their butts up. They men taking all these pills to get an erection so their penis get a little bigger. They're doing all those things to imitate us. So when we begin to live righteously, the whole spirit of the earth will change. Because the rest of the heathens and the goyim and the pagans, they will all begin to imitate us just like they do in our foolishness. They will do the same thing in our righteousness. And we have to understand that. We are the light to the nations. We are that light. And we have to understand that. That's why it's so important that we separate ourselves from everyone else. We had a lesson this morning. Zakane Elnatan came out and taught today. He gave us a treat and a blessing. And it was a beautiful thing to have him present. It really was. You know, that was one of the elders that you guys heard me speak about so often in the past. You know, one of the greatest elders that I hold dear to my heart in this day and time. And he gave a beautiful lesson. And I do pray that he comes back and present another lesson for us. But we're going to move forward. And in the next 2 weeks, next week, Abba is going to teach. Next Shabbat, Abba, the one who comes here, Elder Matatiah, he's going to teach next week, Creator willing. And I'm sure he'll do a wonderful job. And then the week after that, we have another brother, Rabbi Binyamin is going to teach the week after that. You know, so, and I'm sure they're going to do great jobs. I know they put their spirit and their heart, their energy into it, you know. And if you have somebody that you know that you would like to hear do a presentation, let us know. And we'll reach out to that individual and see if we can get them up to come up teach. See if we can get them to come and teach. So, yes. Oh, let me be quiet. She want to speak. Let me shut up. The boss is ready to.
Shalom, everyone. What Maish brought out to the spiritual is so important too, because I thought about it, but I didn't bring it out because a lot of people just they go by what is written, you know, when it says how to keep the Shabbat. But I definitely agree with the spiritual, because things around you can affect your spirit on the Shabbat day. You know, like you said, like children playing, or what you listen to, the music you listen to on the Shabbat day, what you watch on TV, or you know, just, or what, just like your surroundings. So that's one of the things that I do. I actually do look at with the Jewish community, because on it, they surround themselves with each other every day, for one, right? And so, and then they, they have their set rules and their set ideologies, and they stick to them no matter what. So I brought that up because in our community, we have set ideologies, but we don't stick to them. It's like people look at, people don't, like, I think it's so important that when you know the Shabbat is coming, to separate yourself so that you could be prepared to be in the presence of the Creator in a clean state. And I think people generally just don't understand that how set apart this day is and how special this day is. Like, I take it really, I'm sad when I'm on my nida and it's the Shabbat, because I can't have that time that I really desire spiritually with the Creator, because I can't go into the Knesset. I don't approach Him in my unclean state. So, and for those 7 days, especially if it's on a Shabbat, I feel even less connected to Him. And so spiritually, I feel like when we have the opportunity to be able to come before the Most High, especially in a house that's dedicated to Him, that should be when we like say, oh, you know what? Everybody who's unclean, stay far from me. And I've learned this, honestly. I've learned the discipline from this, from from my sister Tara and her family, but mainly from my Ish, because he's like, I used to, when we first came in, I was like, woo, but now I realize it's a dedication to the Creator. It's not about being strict or overzealous or any of those things. You have to have a dedication, a set apart dedication for the Creator. And when you have that, His day becomes that much more important to you. And so for me, like my I would say people probably look at me as borderline crazy when the Shabbat gets close, because I'm really antsy. I'm like, yo, we have this many minutes. All the food needs to be done way before the sun go down. I don't like to be turning off my stove at the brink of when the darkness comes in, because I feel like we're playing with the Most High. We're not preparing. We're not giving us, you're not even giving yourself a space to let go of that day and bring in the new day. And so, like, I can really be anal about it. I know I can. I don't apologize for it, because I'm not going to. Because when I did apologize for it, I started to slip because everybody else around me wasn't doing it. So I have just been practicing within myself. I don't care what everybody else is doing. Food needs to be ready. Clothes need to be ironed. If I can't get the clothes ironed, they just don't get ironed. If I can't finish washing my clothes, they just don't get finished washing until the Shabbat's over. Like, if I have to rewash a load, I just have to rewash a load. And if that's how spiritually it is for me to be connected. Because if I don't do that, then I feel like I'm going into the Shabbat, honestly, with a whole lot of energy that the Most High doesn't deserve to have, because I did not prepare myself properly. And when I get to those places, my Shabbat is not as peaceful as I would like it to be. And I'll just say, like this weekend, right? Like, I had to deal with a whole lot of, I was emotionally exhausted with everything going on with my father, but I still prepared all the food before the Shabbat came in. I ironed clothes. I had it in my mind that I was going to get it done no matter what, because the Most High is so much more important than my father's ailments, my emotional imbalances, or whatever I'm going through personally. I still have to make sure the Most High is put first. And so I'm glad you brought that out. I didn't think to, personalize it into that aspect, but it's so true. And I pray, that people understand that. And the analness of me with the Shabbat, It's not because I'm trying to make anybody look bad. I'm trying to make sure honestly, I have that connection with the creator. And if you gain something from that, then that's a plus for me. But if you don't, then that's something you have to work on, for yourself. But however, we all should be doing our best um, to actually like get excited about the Shabbat day coming. Not get excited because, oh, I don't have to go to work. Like, I think that's what people look forward to. Like, I don't have a job, so, I could be just whatever. But people look forward to, oh, I don't have to go to work. I don't have to wake up early. I don't have to, but I still wake up early on the Shabbat. I just look forward to it because it's a day that I know I'm truly dedicating my time, my purpose to the Creator. And even in the break time, I'm still like, okay, let me, make sure lunch is eaten and done prior to, Shabbat coming in. And then today, I had 2 guests come to go visit my father. So I made sure I prepared lunch for them. But I was like, I got to be ready, even if I don't get to finish my food, to be able to get into the Knesset on time. So, I think we just have to be diligent and very secure in our relationship with the Creator. It doesn't matter what other people's interpretations are or what they may feel is what He means. You truly, I feel, have to meditate with the Creator and ask Him, how do I observe the Shabbat within the words that you have set before me? Spiritually, how do I continue to keep the Shabbat holy with you? So, exactly. Oh, also, the Most High does say that we're supposed to keep a holy convocation. And a lot of people don't understand what a holy convocation is. A holy convocation is 2 or more people in the surroundings that you're dedicating that time with the Creator, from my understanding. And so that's another way of keeping a Shabbat, having a holy convocation. And the way the world is now, we're having a holy convocation because we are coming together in the different parts of the world that we're in. And honestly, giving thanks to the Creator that this technology does exist, because a lot of us would not have enough. A lot of us wouldn't be keeping a holy convocation if we didn't have these. The Most High knows all, sees all, so He allows things to be for the sake of what world we are living in. That's my understanding, not everybody's. So that's where I am. Zehu.
And so it is spoken, and so it is said. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. The Shabbat is an amazing thing, and not everybody keeps the Shabbat alike. The important concern to me is that you keep the Shabbat. However you keep your Shabbat, keep it. As your knowledge as you grow, your knowledge expands. As the Most High enlighten you to have a different form of understanding, then so be it. Keep it. Do what the Most High has for you to do in a level of understanding where you are. And when you learn new things, incorporate those new things in your understanding after you research it, incorporate it into your way of serving this King, because that's what it's all about. All right? May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. Toda Rabbah. Y'all do know that a young man got put to death for picking up sticks on the Shabbat day, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Creator told him, put him to sleep. He was out picking up sticks on the Shabbat day. The Most High said, put him to sleep. Excuse me. That's how serious keeping the Shabbat is. And then you have a lot of people who will tell you, you no longer have to keep the laws of the Creator in the land of your captivity. You be careful of those types of people, because the Most High said you ought to keep these commands in all of your dwellings, wherever you live upon the face of the earth. All right, so we're going to move on. All right, you got it?
Okay. Sukari law can be found in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 20. Thou shalt fear the Creator him shalt thou serve, and to him shalt thou cleave and swear by his name. And her explanation is, thou shalt fear thou shalt fear them, him shall I serve, and to him shall I cleave and swear by his name.
All right. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. Praise the Most High. All right. So is there another?
I see Brother Oscar's, but he's
Brother Oscar's on the platform. Brother Oscar can do his own commandment. Go ahead, Brother Oscar. Do your commandment, bro.
Shalom. So my commandment is from Exodus 23:33, and it says, "Let them not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me when you serve their mighty ones, when it becomes a snare to you." And my understanding of this is, it reminds us that the Almighty has allowed us to have the provision of a land and a place to worship Him. And there's going to be the temptation for others to come in and distract you from that focus of worship. And it's not just a distraction, but an attraction to their gods, their mighty ones. And it will become a snare to us. So it's just a caution. And while we are happy for community and fellowship, and for me, I really like to share my blessings with others. And so, if I'm enjoying something and by myself, I enjoy it more when others are around me. So if I say invite others in, we have to just be mindful of the type of persons that we harbor in our space, right? Because we are supposed to be the light shining, and sometimes we end up being the ones following. And it's very subtle and easy to be attracted to other mighty ones. So let us try and aim for the mark at whatever we harbor in our minds as we invite others. Then we try to get them to serve our mighty one. There's another text that says that when the strangers that are within your gates come, they need to follow the rules, follow the Torah as well. So if they are not circumcised, I think it says, and there's a Passover to be taken, they must be circumcised to even be in that space. So we're not gonna shun people because of differences in views, but we're gonna ensure that when we invite them in our space, that we take heed that it becomes a snare to us. Shalom.
All righty. Shabbat Shalom. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. Toda Rabbah. All right. Did we have another commandment? Oh, you know what, Brother Asa? I had a question for you, Brother Asa. You had up there that let them not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me. Who are the people that the Creator is telling us not to let dwell in our land?
Oh, sorry. I was saying, yeah, I believe it's the Goyim, the nations, I believe, and their practices that follow them. We do not want them to dwell in their. The Almighty does not want them to come in our land. The nations, not Israel. So I don't believe it's a case where I can't come in your space and you can't come in my space, because we are Israel and we share the same laws. But persons who do not share the same laws, who do not share the same recognize the Creator as their head.
All right, very well. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. Ishi, do you have a commandment for the family?
And it is from Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 14. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear a whole lot of other noise in the background.
Okay, one second. Verse 14 through 15.
What you bringing? Groceries in the house?
What? No. And the baby's playing. And
Just tell that baby I said stop playing on Shabbat. He had to laugh. He had to laugh at that. You hear him?
he did. Okay. Verse 14, chapter 24, it reads, "Thou shalt not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates. At his day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Creator, and it be sin unto thee." So this basically screams to me that the Most High wants us to have, or needs us to have, respect for hired servants, those that be your brethren or those that be of your strangers that you bought for serving. You are to treat them with respect. And I think later on in this chapter, I don't know if it refers to this verse per se, but it talks about remembering that you were a stranger in Mitzrayim, in Egypt. So given that you were a stranger in someone else's land and were treated poorly and bad working conditions, whatever it was, keep that in mind when it comes to the hired servant that is in your house, whether it be your brother or a stranger. And verse 15, also the poor servant in this verse, if he is not receiving his fair pay, or for what he would what for what he's done, and you haven't given it to him before the sun went down, he may cry upon to pray to the Creator, and the Creator counts that as a sin against you, because the Creator, um I would say the Creator holds in high regard those that are poor, the vulnerable, right? Fatherless children, widows, the poor. He holds them in high regard. So even if this poor servant, maid servant, or whoever is a stranger, you are to treat them with respect, and you are to pay them when you say, because that poor person needs that money for survival. And if you withhold it from them, you're basically killing them, right? Killing them slowly, really. And that's a really horrible thing to do. So the Most High is reiterating to basically treat them with respect. And if you don't particularly pay them when you should, as you said you would, it'll be a sin against you. And not only will it be a sin against you, but it really just shows that your word means nothing. If it shows, it brings about dishonor to you, to your name, because they are a vulnerable person. They're poor, they need that. So yep, that's my commandment, both of those verses. Shalom.
All right. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. Toda Rabbah. All right. Any other commandments? So, family, please remember to go out, like, share, and subscribe, please, and ring the bell. All right? All righty. May the Most High be praised. Go out, like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so we can do this thing, y'all. We got a lot to do. Mr. Otter says, Baruch Shemo. Okay. That means blessed be his name. Okay. All right. Any other comments or questions before we get started? Oh, we got a lesson for y'all today. Sister Anit, where you at? Sister Anit, where you at? Yeah, she in the comments hiding them down low. That's all right. We got you though. We see you. That's what happened when you type in. That's why so many people don't type in, because they don't want us to know they're here. But I don't care if you're here. It's all right. You can let us know you're here. All y'all in the background, shout out. Hey, Prince. It's okay. Y'all still cool with me, even though I ain't cool with y'all. I mean, I'm cool with y'all, but y'all ain't cool with me. It's okay. Y'all know how that go. Y'all know how that go. There you go, Sister Anit. There your hint. Come on in. Send you the cue. Come on in. If you read today, if you're reading today, just only if you're reading today, if you're going to read for us. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not murder. Okay. Let me see. That's everything? Oh. 4 times a year, all males should appear before the Most High. There you go. You on point. I like that. Okay. It's 3 times a year. All males should appear before the Almighty. Okay. Let me think of another one. A real one. I think I might have said that last week or the week before. Let me think of another one. Thou should not allow thy children, offer thy children to the fire of Moloch. Yeah, I think I said that the week before that. Okay, let's see what we do. Thou shalt not marry thy children to the Jebusites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, the Canaanites. I think it's 4 of them. I think it's 7 of them, 7 nations. You're not allowed to marry your children to. I said the Girgashites, the Hivites, the Parasites.
Parasites.
Yeah, Girgashites, something like that. Something like that. It's a bunch of them. It's like 7 of them. We're not allowed to marry our children to. I believe you find that in the book of Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, somewhere around verse 5, somewhere around there. I think that's where you find all that at. So there are people in the earth that the Most High don't want us to bring into our bloodline. And the reason is like what Brother Asa gave earlier, because the Most High don't want us mingling with those people. He don't want us bringing that blood into our blood to create or to form people in the earth with that unclean blood. Because the Most High says that those people, and notice he didn't say to the 3rd or 4th generation, or even to the 10th generation with a lot of those people. He just said, don't do it. There are some people, the Moabites, there are some people that the Most High says unto the 10th generation. Some he says unto the 3rd generation. But those ones that I mentioned, he said completely.
You said chapter 5?
4, chapter 4. Deuteronomy chapter 4. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 4.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Mm-hmm. And who he say? What's the nation's names?
The Hittites.
Hittites. Girgashites.
Amorites.
Amorites.
The Parasites.
Parasites. See, I told you.
You said
I said parasites. Yeah, go ahead.
Canaanites.
Canaanites. I named that.
Jebusites.
Jebusites. I named that. And the Hivites. And the Hivites. Those are all nations that we're going to read about today. And the Most High doesn't want us mingling with their seed. And it's for a reason that you don't know of. It's a spiritual reason, because those people are spiritually unclean. If you notice, those were the people that the Most High kicked out of the land. And he gave us that land because they wasn't doing right in that land. They was doing all types of wicked and abominations in that land. And when he gave us that land, he created a whole set of laws outside of the regular laws that our forefathers already knew. You don't understand what I'm saying? Okay, I'll give you an example. Judah. Moshe came. Moshe had a set of laws that the Most High gave to him. But prior to Moshe coming, our forefathers already had the law. They already had the law. Judah kept the law when he was dealing with Tamar and dealing with Onan, his son. Those situations, he kept the law. Abraham, the Most High said he kept all his laws and all his commandments. But all these people was before Moshe brought forward the law. So these are some things for us to think about, things for us to consider. So there are laws that the Most High had on record prior to Moshe bringing down the law. And in my opinion, now this is my opinion, the same laws that was in play, the Most High incorporated them into the laws that he brought from what the evil people did in the land prior to us. Peaceful love, Shabbat Shalom, peaceful love. Shabbat Shalom, I don't know, but it's cool. I seen him up here earlier. May the Most High be praised. All right, so if I need to do another commandment, I can come up with another one. Y'all tell me what y'all want me to do. Is it okay? Can we move on with the lesson? Or do y'all want me to give up another commandment? Which one y'all want? the first person that speaks up that ain't on the podium, we're going to do what they say. Yeah, because y'all be Shabbat Shalom, peaceful love. Yes. So what y'all want? Y'all want me to come up with another commandment, or y'all ready to get started with this lesson for the day? You got to type it in the room though, because her word and my word and the people on the board. You want a commandment? All right. See, that brother said he want a commandment. All right. All right. So here's a commandment. He said one more. Okay, there's one more. All right. All right. Let's think. All right. If you buy a Hebrew servant, he shall serve you for 7 years. After that 7 years, he is free to go. Now, if you take him on that 7th year and you say, go, bro, you can leave. And he says, and you gave him a wife, and he had children by that wife, both the wife and the children belong to you, the master. But if he says, I love my wife, I love my children, and I don't want to leave them, then he shall serve you forever. And if he's to serve you, you are to take his ear and put a board through his ear, and he shall serve you all of his days. You see how the Creator made that law and put that in place? That if this man loved that woman that much, that he should remain a slave forever. That's something deep, because you know, Prince could create a whole lesson off of that right there. That's some deep stuff. You got to understand the mind state of a man. You choose your freedom or you choose captivity. Which one? But if the servant, if the master is really keeping the commandments of the Most High, that servitude wouldn't feel like you're a slave. It'll be a blessing. The man who understands that his life is the way it is because he's not receiving the full benefit of the blessings of the Creator is a wise man. So you know what he does? He attaches himself to a man that's receiving those blessings from the Creator. And he says, brother, I'll serve you for the next 5-10 years. I just need you to help me take care of my family. That is a wise man. But the foolish man is the man who will see the Most High's wrath upon him and keep saying, well, I could do this, but never changing his mindset, never changing how he deal with the servants of the Almighty. He just keep on saying, well, I'm going to figure out another way. I'm going to figure out another way. I'm going to figure out another way. Oh, I'm going to get it if I got to knock somebody upside the head to go get it. That's not righteous. And if you end up knocking somebody upside the head to go get it just because you ain't got it because the Most High ain't giving it, you will more than likely end up going to jail, and then you got it. It's not good. Brothers, we got to return back to the oneness of the Almighty. We got to stop playing these games with this king and realize that we belong to him. He don't belong to us. All right? So who's reading for me today? Brother Oz is no longer here. Sister Ornette, are you reading today?
I am.
I am. I am that I am. That's all right. I like that. You ready to rock and roll?
Okay.
All right, family. Y'all ready to go? Now, everybody got their books out? Now, I need y'all to get your notes, your papers, and your pens, because we getting ready to do some traveling. I know y'all be like, yeah, boy, I can't wait for Prince to come up there and do some traveling. We getting ready to do some traveling, y'all. Y'all ready to rock and roll? All right. So we gonna get it in. May the Most High King of all creation guide my mind, my spirit, my body, my language, and my speech as I approach unto you, his people. May the Most High be praised. From everlasting to everlasting, he is King. All right, we got a whole lesson prepared for y'all. So I hope y'all got y'all traveling shoes on because we're going to get it in today. Everybody know the book we in? We're in the book of Genesis. And y'all know the book of Genesis is talking about the story of Noah. Let's see what it's talking about with the story of Noah. Let me see if we can close this out. How we do this, I forgot. Oh yeah, right there. There you go. All right, short presentation.
The story of Noah's Ark is one of the most fascinating and intriguing stories known to mankind. It can be found in virtually 200 accounts all around the world on almost every continent. However, many people today believe Noah's Ark and the flood are just myths or some altered version of ancient beliefs. Of all the stories in the Bible, Noah's Ark and the Great Flood is one of the most controversial. Is it all true? Did it really happen? How did it happen? And if it is true, is there evidence for the flood found in geology and historical records around the world? In this video, we'll be looking at overwhelming evidence that supports the location of Noah's Ark. We'll also end with a faith lesson about what God would desire for us to learn from this event. I really believe this video will be life-changing and transforming to your life. I believe you will be fascinated and touched by the amount of evidence that exists for the truthfulness of Noah's Ark and the Bible's account of all that took place surrounding this catastrophic event. So climb aboard and stay tuned as we take a journey through time and witness one of the greatest miracles that ever existed.
We ought to go watch a few minutes of this, family. I can put the link in the room and you can look it up for yourself if you like.
Now, is there evidence today for the location of Noah's Ark? The answer is yes. There is overwhelming evidence for the location of Noah's Ark that can be seen today, and I'm really excited to share this with you. The site we'll be looking at has far more evidence than any other proposed place. It's known today as the Drupanar site, but it is not new as it has been venerated for thousands of years. Now let's take a moment and orient ourselves regarding some of the places that we're going to be seeing at this location of Noah's Ark today. We see Noah's Ark National Park. It's located about 17 miles or 28 kilometers south of Mount Ararat, about 260 miles or 450 kilometers west of the Caspian Sea, and about 200 miles or 320 kilometers east of the Black Sea. Then we see the actual location of Noah's Ark Visitor Center, drogue and anchor stones, and these can be found all over. Noah's home, it is believed by many, is where Noah lived after the flood. Noah's altar and the corrals, the pasture and the places where he could have had a vineyard and things like that. We see the mountains of Ararat. Then we have Mount Ararat. Then we have this amazing site called the Wall of Heaven, a place called the Crow Won't Land, a village called the Village of the Eight, and we have a stele that has been found and an ostracon. So these are the places that we'll be looking at in this location of Noah's Ark. We'll now look at the history of this Drupanar site and see the overwhelming evidence supporting it as the best candidate for the location of Noah's Ark. In recent years, it has been named after the Turkish army captain İlhan Drupanar, who shot an aerial photo of the site while on a mapping mission for NATO in October of 1959. Drupanar informed the Turkish government of his discovery, and a group from the Archaeological Research Foundation, which included George Vandeman, İlhan Drupanar, and Arthur Brandenberger, professor of photogrammetry, surveyed the site in June of 1960.
So from June of 1960, they came up with this information. Archaeologists believe they have discovered the final location of Noah's Ark on Turkey, Mount Ararat. Soil samples from atop the high peaks in Turkey reveal human activity and marine material. Dating of the rock and soil from the location matches with biblical timing of Noah's Ark. Well, Prince, the name of the lesson is, who are the Gentiles? What does this got to do with the Gentiles? You're getting ready to find out. Did they find Noah's Ark? They go presentation. You can pull that website up and you can look at it. Likewise, the Hebrew word for ark is tebah. Tebah. Now, I've always known the Hebrew word for ark to be aharon. Aharon means ark, but tebah actually means the word for ark in Hebrew that they're talking about in reference to boat. Is nearly identical to the Babylonian word for the oblong boat, tubu, especially given the V or the B are the same letters in Hebrew. Bet, however, the cause of Elohim or Elohims plural, sending the flood different in various stories. So that means that every story throughout the world, every nation has a story of the flood. But they tell it, each nation tells a story slightly different. In other stories, particularly in ancient Mesopotamia mythology, the equivalent of Noah's Ark is often referred to as the ship of Up-Napistim. Now, Up-Napistim is supposed to be Noah's name in the Gilgamesh epics. The character from the epics of Gilgamesh, where he builds a vessel to survive a great flood, mirroring the biblical story of Noah. Now, in the Gilgamesh epics, we had a class about that a couple months ago. And Gilgamesh, Ishna-Pishtim, was supposed to have the secret of life. And Gilgamesh was supposed to go across all the seas till he got to Ishpanitim and to get the secrets of life. If you get a chance, family, I would suggest you look up the Gilgamesh epics or the epics of Gilgamesh. That would be a great read for you, just so you can sharpen your mind to make you strong. So when you're hearing things, you'll know what it is that the author is talking about when you're introduced to new things. Both the story of Noah and the flood in the book of Genesis in the Hebrew Bible and the flood story in the Epic of Gilgamesh details a grand flood in which a man saved life from extinction by building an ark, earning fame and immortality in some form. All right. So now we all know that the flood took place in one part of life. Now we're going to go to another part of life. And this is where we're going to pick up at where we at right now. Okay? That part of life that we get ready to get into right now is the 10th chapter. The flood took place in the 6th, the 7th, the 7th, and the 8th chapter. We got on the 9th chapter where the Creator said, you shall eat no more blood. So now we're going to go into the 10th chapter. But before we go into the 10th chapter, Sister Ornette, I need you to go to the 9th chapter. At the end of the chapter, and read start at verse 24. All right? This is going to set the premise and the foundation for our lesson today. Read on, sis, please. Now, today's class will be rather short. So if you don't hang in there with us, you're going to miss something. Go ahead. Read on, sis.
Reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 9, verse 24.
Bring it, sis. Bring it.
And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan.
Cursed be Canaan. Now, Ham did the sin. Why was Canaan being cursed? Read on, please.
A servant of servants shall be unto his brethren.
Canaan shall be a servant of servants. Well, at this time, did Ham even have a son named Canaan? Oh, we don't know. We don't know. Because the process in time covers a whole lot of spectrums of things. We don't know who all was born at this time. So read on, please.
Verse 26. And he said, Blessed be the creator of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant.
So the Canaanites were supposed to serve the Shemites. And who's the Shemites? Anybody know who the Shemites are? Who's the Shemites? We, Israel, are the Shemites. But we're not the only Shemites. There are other Shemitic people, Shemitic, not Semitic, but Shemitic. There's other Shemitic people that are in the earth. All right? So we are the Shemites. The Canaanites come out of Ham. Remember? Ham is supposed to serve Shem, according to what the Most High has said. Read on, please.
Verse 27.
Watch
The Creator shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem.
He shall dwell in the tents of who?
Shem.
So Yafet is going to dwell in the tents of Shem. What does that mean? That means that Shem is the prodigal child. Shem is the blessed child. Shem is the anointed child. But Yafet is going to dwell in Shem's house. Why would the Creator allow Shem, his favorite, to be moved to the side and let Yafet, who ain't so favorite, dwell in the tents of Shem so he can bring forth prophecy? And we're going to bring all this out in this lesson. Read on, please. He should dwell in the tents of Shem.
And Canaan shall be his servant.
And Canaan is going to be the servant of Yafet. So Canaan is just going to be serving all nations. All nations, Canaan are going to be serving. Now, I'm going to tell you something. It's called a Treaty of Papal Bull. Write that down, family. The Treaty of Papal Bull. The Treaty of Papal Bull was what the Pope wrote so that the European nations can go into Africa and take out a certain slave, so that that slave can serve all the European nations. They use this prophecy of the scriptures to verify what they were doing. But they didn't take the Canaanites. They took the Israelites. They took our people. Because what they did was they went to Africa and they made an agreement with the Africans, who are the true Canaanites. They made an agreement with the Africans to sell the other slaves in their land to them. The captors, the lowly other people, the bad people who they had in jails. The agreement was that they would sell them into captivity to the Europeans in exchange for gunpowder, for salt, for pearls and rubies, all types of things that the black man could have had himself, but he didn't go get it himself. He didn't make them himself. Europeans brought weapons of mass destruction to Africa, sold them to the Africans, and took us using the Treaty of Papal Bull. As they crossed the seas, if they got stopped by other boats, they had to sign declaration of the Treaty of Papal Bull, which gave them permission to go and take slaves, because they say in their tongue, God ordained it in their tongue. This is the scripture that they use to justify them going into slavery to get a slave. But the slave that they took wasn't Canaanites. They were Israelites. And this is what happened here in the 27th verse, where it says, and Elohim shall enlarge Japhet, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Because when we went into captivity for not obeying the Creator, what happened was Japhet went into our position. They went into the land of Israel, and they went into our home, our land. That land belongs to us. They went into our land and assumed our position. But they was Japhet, they wasn't Shem. But they were dwelling in Shem's house. That was prophesied way back in the time of Noah, and is still being fulfilled today. And it didn't start until 1944, 1943, when the European nations got together and said, hey, we're going to let them make this a nation, a country. Watch, family. The Most High ain't playing. Watch what takes place. Read on and close that out for us, sis. Sister Ornette?
We gotta bring her up.
Sister Ornette?
I'm here.
Okay, close us out, please.
Verse 28. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. And all the days of Noah were 950 years. And then he died.
950 years, and he died. So just to set the foundation, family, because today's class is going to be pretty relatively short, but not too short. You're going to get a whole lot out of this little bit of time we're about to spend together. So please, you got to focus. You got to pay attention. Anybody you want to hear this lesson, you should go send them an invite right now. You should share. You should like. You should do whatever you need to do. Ring the bell, because we're getting ready to get into some heavy stuff. Some stuff that I know a lot of us don't already understand. You know, Prince, that's how he teach. So let's roll. You ready?
Okay.
Now watch
Reading
this.
from the book of Genesis,
Here you go.
chapter 10, verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah: Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And not necessarily in that order. But read on.
And unto them were sons born after the flood.
You see that? It says, unto them were sons born to them after the flood. And of course, they had daughters as well. And of course, they was having intercourse with their cousins to repopulate the earth. Some of them might have been their brothers and sisters, but they was repopulating the earth. Read on.
Verse 2. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Yavan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tyros. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Rephath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Yavan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dunaim. By these were the borders of the nations.
Now, they didn't bother to name all of his children by name. What they did was they pulled out the most relevant children and called them out by name, because they affected the earth vastly. And if they didn't affect the earth at the time of the writing of the book, they affected it in the future years to come. And we're going to get into that in a minute. Read on, sis. Verse 6.
Verse 5.
Oh,
By these were the borders of the nations, divided in their lands, every one after his own tongue, after their families and their nation. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havlah, and Bata, and Raamah, and Sebtka. And the sons of Raamah, Sheba, and Dedan.
now, if you ever look up Ramah and look and see who Ramah is, you will notice that Queen of Sheba, Makeda, she had a father named Ramah. And a lot of people teach that that is supposed to be her father there in that present verse. They are Hamites. They do come from Africa. Hamites come from Africa. This is why you got Cush, which means black. You got Mitzrayim, which means house of bondage. You got Phut and you got Canaan. All of these are African nations. And the sons of Cush, his 4th son is Ramah. And the sons of Ramah, they point him out again. Remember, I told you, they always point out the distinct ones. Ramah is Sheba and Dedan. Read on, please. Ramah was the 4th son. Why they naming his children first? Read on, please.
Verse 8. And Cush begot Nimrod.
Cush was the first one. Read on. And he begot a man named Nimrod. And he began to be the mighty one on the earth. People look at Nimrod as an evil being. And I don't know why, but they do. They have stories and fables about Nimrod saying that Nimrod was a wicked man before the Creator. That Nimrod, his mother, Semiramis, actually had intercourse with him, supposedly, after he died. Let me get the story straight now. Let me get the story straight. It's a long time ago since I had to teach this portion of the lesson. Nimrod's mother claimed that her husband died, and a virgin, and wow, how did that story go? Nimrod's mother claimed that her husband died, and she miraculously conceived a child. That child was supposed to be Nimrod, who was the mighty hunter before the Creator. And some kind of way, the Christmas tree is involved in that whole story. And I can't remember the story correctly. So what I'll do is I have to remember it next week if I can't get it right now, because I'm gonna go research it and pull it back up. But I haven't had to teach this portion of the lesson in many years. Nimrod's mother, Semiramis, had intercourse with Nimrod and produced a child. However way it go, Nimrod was worshipped as a deity. All right. But I'm going to look the story up because I don't remember, and I don't like to tell you stories that I don't fully remember. So I'm going to leave it at that. Remind me later to give y'all the story of Nimrod. Read on, please.
Verse 8. And Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Creator.
So if he was a mighty hunter before the Creator, why do people teach so evil and negative about him? Read on, please.
Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Creator. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel.
And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. Babylon, remember Babylon? Well, Babel, which you're getting ready to read in the 11th chapter, that'll probably be next Shabbat. In Babylon is what was a kingdom that Nimrod, he actually founded that kingdom. And in Babylon, the people tried to build a tower to reach up to the heavens. And the Most High came down and confounded their language. Read on, please.
And Eric, and Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh, and the city of Rehoboth, and Calah. And Rezin between Nineveh and Calah, the same is a great city.
Now we all know about Nineveh, right?
Okay.
We all know what Nineveh with Jonah and the boat when he was supposed to go to Nineveh. Nineveh was ran by the Assyrians at that particular time. Read on. That was their capital city. Read on, please.
Verse 13. And Mizraim beget Ludim.
Who's Mitzrayim? Who's Mitzrayim? What does Mitzrayim mean? I told you what it means. It means house of bondage. And Mitzrayim is the Egyptians. Read on, please. See, I'm going through all this right now, and then I'm going to back up, and I'm going to break this history down. Read on, please. We might need 2 weeks to break all this history down. Read on, please.
Verse 13. And Mizraim beget Ludim, and Anaim, and Labim, and Naphuhim, and Parasuim, and Kalasim, out of whom came the Philistines, and Kaphtorim. And Canaan beget Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite.
Now, Canaan beget the Jebusites. Who's the Jebusites? Anybody know who the Jebusites were? Well, Prince going to tell you. I want you to take and write that name down, Jebusites. Write it down. Come on now, write it down. Jebusites. Jebus, that's right. Jebus is the ancient name of the Jebusites. Jebus. The Jebusites was Canaanites. They were the inhabitants of Israel. Before the Creator gave the land to us, the Canaanites lived in that land. Jerusalem was inhabited by Jebusites. We had to get all the Jebusites out of the land before we can go into the land and claim Jerusalem. Jerusalem was the capital of Israel. But the Jebusites, when they had it, when they had it, the capital name was Ai. And if you look in the time of Joshua, you'll see where Joshua fought a war with the Jebusites in their capital, Ai. Read that information, family. Told you to write that stuff down. You're going to need this information. It's going to be good information for you. Read it, please, so you can learn it. So that when somebody start talking, you can be like, no, bro, that ain't right. And you'll know what you're talking about because you study, you learn, you study, and you read your history. The Jebusites are Jebus. Jebus. Yes, Jebus, yes, Jebus, really. Okay? Those were the inhabitants of the land way before us. All right? Read on, please.
Verse 15. Sliga. Verse 16. And the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girashite.
All these are Canaanite people. We just mentioned those people that the Most High said we shouldn't inhabit with. We shouldn't cohabit with. We shouldn't give our sons to them, nor our daughters to them in marriage. Therefore, the Father is telling us not to have children with these people. The Girgashites, the Jebusites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Hivites. All right? All these people we are supposed to avoid under the command of the Creator. Read on, please.
Verse 17. And the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite.
Amathite.
And afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad.
Afterwards were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. Now, I want to make that distinction right now. Oh, those people who signed out of this class and get ready to miss some powerful stuff. I ain't even dropped the Jews yet. If you think you got some Jews already, you about to get some stuff. I'm telling you, go share this page with your friends and everybody who call themselves a moray and everybody who think they know biblical history. Share the page with them because we about to get busy. Go ahead, sis. Keep it going, sis. Please give it up.
Verse 19. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar, unto Gaza, thou goest, unto Sodom, and Gomorrah, and Adama, or Admah, and Zubim.
Now, all these nations that you just got finished reading about, Sodom, Gomorrah, Adama, Zeboim, all of those places were destroyed when the Creator brought the fire from heaven and burnt up. And Lot, he saved Lot and his two daughters out of that situation. He actually saved Lot, his two daughters, and his wife. But his wife looked back and disobeyed what the Most High told her to do, and she got turned into a pillar of salt. All those nations was destroyed. Some of those nations we conquered and we took over as a people. Watch this. Read on, please. Now, one thing I want to say. Now, they started covering Canaan way up here in verse 6. And they didn't get finished covering Canaan till way down here, somewhere around 20. Yeah, around 20. They had a lot of information to give us about Canaan. Why? Because the Canaanites did so much in the earth. Canaanites, the Philistines, the Phoenicians contributed so much to humanity that we are still using their language, their alphabets today. The Hebrew alphabet is an ancient Canaanite alphabet. It comes from the Philistines. The Philistines were sea merchants who will go all the way to China and come back and sell silk because the Chinese make the silk. They will go all the way to China, get the silk, and bring it back to Israel and sell it to our people. The Philistines did that. They were traders. They were traveling their boats all around to different countries, tradesmen, selling things, getting the money, bringing it back. So they had to be versatile in multiple languages. And we use that language. At one time, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm going to drop this with you too. In one time, Hebrew was the language of all people. Everybody, no matter what their mother tongue was, the diplomats, the important people, they all spoke Hebrew back in the ancient days. Why? Because of the Philistines, so that they can do business with the Philistines. You don't believe me? Go research, look it up for yourself. Hebrew, the language Hebrew, is in almost every nation under the sun. But you got to go back in their history and you'll find it. The language Hebrew is so powerful, even the people who speak and practice demonology write it down in Hebrew. That's how powerful the Hebrew language is. There is one fable, and I don't know if it's true or not, that teaches that Hebrew was the mother tongue of creation. The mother tongue of the creation. Now, Hebrew is a Phoenician language, a Canaanite language, and we speak it today. Or we speak a dialect of it today. All right? We speak a dialect of it. In 1942, I believe it was a European man who brought back the language because Hebrew was a dead language at one point. They stopped using it, and all these scholars out here today that talk about they speaking Hebrew, we speaking not the original Hebrew. Don't never think that you're speaking the original Hebrew. You're speaking the language that they got back once Hebrew was a dead language. That's what we're speaking. Now, our indigenous people that lives in Israel, all over in Palestine, and all parts of Africa, who has been there for thousands of generations, they are speaking the original Hebrew. We are speaking a European bastardized reintroduction of Hebrew. Don't never mistaken it and think that you're so far off the chart because you study what the Europeans gave us. But it's okay because we do have our own in there. So let's get it right. But keep studying. It's profound. I like the way you teach and how I teach and how we come together and formulate words in the Hebrew tongue. It's great. It is Hebrew, but it's not the ancient Hebrew. And I'm not going to argue with anybody. I pray nobody argues with me. Do the research. I believe it was 1942 when this European man, I read the book a long time ago, how this European man went around and gathered all the information and came up with a way to find out what the Hebrew was saying. Read on, please.
Verse 20. These are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. Unto Shem also, the father of all children of Eber.
I told you I was going to give you some information, boy. I told you, get your pens and your papers because we're going on a journey. Prince ain't playing. Go research what I give you and see if I'm right. Read on, sis. Let's get it. Let's get it. Go ahead, sis. Let's go. Sister Ornette. Man, I done ran her away.
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's all right. I done ran her away. All right, let me see what she stopped at. Verse 20 was the last thing I heard. These are the sons of Ham. And oh, there she go. There she go. There she go. She coming up again. All right, let's get her up there again. Let's get her up. You ready, sis?
Big guy.
All
I
right.
hit leave on accident.
Nah, because you were scared. That's what it was. Prince was getting too heavy for you. You said, I can't take this. Oh no, it's too much knowledge. Started running. You ain't gotta run for me, sis. I'll slow down for you. Yes, I will. Watch me. Go ahead, sis. I don't want to chase you away. Go do your thing.
Verse 21.
Look, she's cracking up. She can't get over excitement. She's overwhelmed now. You'll do that for me, Prince? Yes, I will. I'll slow down for you. Yes, I will. I don't want to chase you away anymore. You ready?
Unto Shem also, the father of all children of Eber, the brother of Japhet.
Slow down. I said I'm going to slow down. Why you not slowing down?
Okay.
All right. We got to, call and respond.
Okay.
We got to be on the same page. Now watch this, family. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber. Who's Eber? And why are they mentioning Eber right here? You know who Eber is? Eber is the great-grandson of Shem. Why are they taking the time to mention the great-grandson of Shem when they introduce Shem? Remember what I told you. It's always talking when it does that, because these people have done profound things in the history of mankind. That's why their names are being mentioned above their brethren and those who came before them. Ham, his son, his grandson, his son was Canaan, but he was like the fourth son. With Shem, Shem's son, Eber, was his great-grandson. Not even his son, not even his grandson, but his great-grandson. But watch why they brought him out. Read on, please.
Verse 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born.
Now, it said Shem, the father of the children of Eber. Who are the children of Eber? And then it says the brother of Japheth the elder. We don't know if it's saying Shem is the elder or Japheth is the elder. We don't know which one it's saying. We honestly don't know. But who are the children of Eber? Anybody know who the children of Eber are? All right, that's right.
Verse 22. The children of Shem,
Elam.
Elam,
Uh-huh.
and Ashur,
Ashurites. Uh-huh.
and Arpachshad,
Uh-huh.
and Lud,
Uh-huh.
and Amram.
And Amram. It doesn't mention Eber one time. Read on, please.
Verse 23. And the children of Amram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash.
It didn't mention Eber one time. Read on.
Verse 24. And Arpachshad.
Now, who is Arphaxad? Who's Arphaxad? Arphaxad is the son of Shem. Arphaxad is the son of Shem. Read on. And Arphaxad begot
Shelah.
Who is Selah. Selah is Arphaxad's son, therefore Shem's grandson. They only mention Selah, and they only mention Arphaxad because they brought forward Eber. And Eber are you. You are Eberim. You are Eber. Eber is the root word for Hebrew. All the Hebrew nations on the planet comes from Eber. Do y'all hear me? You come from Eber. That was Eber's contribution to humanity. He carried that certain gene inside of his body. He carried a certain gene inside of his body, and the Most High knew Eber had that gene. So he skipped over all the rest of them, and he chose Eber to bring you through. Read on, please.
And Shelah begot Eber. And unto Eber was born two sons.
Eber
The
had
name of one.
Eber had two children. Read on.
The name of one was Peleg.
Peleg.
For
To divide.
in his days was the earth divided.
Now it says that in the time of Peleg, while he was alive, the earth was divided. Anybody know what that's called when the land separates?
Continental drift.
There you go. Somebody be listening. There you go. Continental drift. That's what it's called when the land separates. So now if the land separated in the days of Peleg, that means that people was already living on that land, more than likely. People already was living on that land before it separated. Therefore, a lot of our forefathers got here in the Americas way before some European ever even thought about coming into America. We didn't all come over here on slave ships. Israelites was in America before the Europeans ever even thought about coming to America. And that's a fact. We were here before what they call the Indians. We was the aboriginal people, aboriginal inhabitants of what they call the United States of America. And I believe it was American, was a Marabouts. A Marabouts was the name of the tribe that they called that lived here before us. And they just took that and made the name American. And they teach us that it came from America Vespucci. Look it up, family. How do you say in the funny farm? We can't make that up. Read on, please. Anything that I tell you, family, go out and research and look it up because I will make your mind stronger. I will make your understanding deeper. I will teach you the laws of the Most High in a way that you never even understood they existed. You just got to give me the opportunity to do so. Walk with me, and I will open up the windows of heaven that the Most High allows me to, and I will bless you with the blessings of the Almighty. Read on. Let's see what's happening.
And his brother's name was Yoktan.
His brother's name was Yoktan. His brother was irrelevant because nobody powerful enough came through his brother. He was irrelevant. But watch this. Read on.
Verse 26. And Yoktan begot Almodad, and Shilpa, or Shaleth, and Hazaremoth, and Jerah, and Hadoram, and Uzal, and
all these people became great nations, but none of them did such a job as Peleg. Read on, please.
Verse 28. And Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba, and Uphir, and Havlah, and Yobab. All these were the sons of Yoktan. And their dwelling was from Misha, as thou goest unto Shephar, a mount of the east. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands and their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations, in their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood.
And by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. Sis, thank you for doing such a good job. Let's start back over again.
Okay.
Chapter 10, verse 1. Am I serious? How am I going to let you walk away if I didn't start teaching yet? Come on now. Genesis chapter 10, verse 1. Rock on, please.
And it reads,
anybody that leave right now or that left before, you getting ready to miss something powerful. Read on, sis.
And it reads, verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah. Noah means to comfort. Anybody know that? For in his days was the earth comforted because the earth got its rest. So Noah's name means to comfort. Read on, please.
Shem.
Shem name means name. Shem. Shemo, his name. Shem means name. And that's something because out of Shem, the main name of the character was born. The next one is
Ham.
Ham means hot. And Yafet, I don't know what Yafet means, but we're going to look it up. Expansion. Yafet means expansion because something very important is about to take the place with the descendants of Yafet. And that's why I brought you back to the beginning. I didn't want those people who wasn't going to hang around to the end of the lesson to get these Jews because they ain't for real. But all y'all that's still here, see, y'all for real. So I'm about to drop something on you that you're going to take with you the rest of your days as long as you don't forget. What's the name of the lesson? Who are the Gentiles? We great find out. I know you think you know, but you don't. The Gentiles came out of Shem. Read on, sis.
And unto them were sons born.
Shem, I'm sorry, please, Shem, please forgive me. Let Shem hear that and know that I apologize to Shem, our forefather. I didn't mean that. The Gentiles came out of Yafet. Read on, please.
And unto them were sons born after the flood.
Where you at, sis? You're moving too fast.
Slika.
And unto them were born sons after the flood. After the flood happened, they began to inhabit and have children. Now watch this.
Verse 2. The sons of Japheth.
Now these are the sons of Yafet. Before we begin, Yafet means to expansion. Yafet, a son of Noah, also his posterity, Japhet. The usage of the word Japhet is one of three sons of Noah mentioned in the Hebrew Bible. His name is often associated with the ideal of expansion or enlargement, which is reflected in the blessing Noah gives him. And that blessing that Noah gave him was in the 27th verse of chapter 9, which says, may Elohim enlarge Japhet, and may he dwell in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. That was a blessing that their father gave them because he was a prophet. He was prophesying what the Most High was going to do to the children of Israel, the descendants of Shem. He was going to move out the children of Shem out of their home, send them into captivity. But somebody had to take the place, and he chose Japhet to take the place of our people. Anybody know what the name Idumean means? Idumean, Idumea, Idumean. Do anybody know the history of the Idumean people? Research the Idumeans. Look up who the Idumeans are, and then get back to me later. Now, the next verse, the next portion, it says, cultural and historic background of Japhet is traditionally considered the ancestor of many. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to this very carefully, because we're ready to open up some doors right now. The son of Noah, traditionally considered. Now, remember, at this time, they got off the boat. There was nobody on the planet at this particular time. So everybody who lived and inhabited the planet after the flood came from Noah. So here we go. Japhet is traditionally considered the ancestors of many Indo-Europeans and some Asian people. Indo-Europeans. What is an Indo-European? Russia, Germany, Austria, all those European countries, Caucasus, all those European countries. Japhet is supposed to be the progenitor for all those European people. Japhet's descendants are associated with various regions and peoples, including the coastlands and islands of the Gentiles. Wait a minute. Are you saying Japhet's descendants are the Gentiles? Wait a minute. This reflects the ancient understanding of the spread of different ethnic groups and languages after the flood. One author says the third son of Noah, whose descendants after the flood settled in the coastland of the Mediterranean. Pay attention. The descendants of Japhet settled in the coastland of the Mediterranean, spreading north into Europe and parts of Asia. They spread north into Europe. Anybody know what's up in Europe? The Germans, the English. These are European nations. The Caucasus Mountains, these are European nations. Now we get to Japhet's sons. Read on, please. Verse 2.
Verse 2. The sons of Japhet, Gomer, and Magog.
Anybody know Hebrew history? Anybody know biblical history? Know that Magog and those nations are Germanic tribes. They are Germanic people. So Japhet was the father of the Germanic people. When the boat landed, Japhet took his people and they went north to the cold regions of the earth. Read on, please.
And Madai.
These was all black people at this time, in the time of Japhet. Okay? It was all black people. Read on, please.
And Madai. And Yavan.
And
Tubal.
And
Meshach. And Tiras.
And the sons of Gomer.
Verse 3.
Gomer was the first son of Japhet. Gomer was the first son of Japhet. Read on. Let's see who Gomer's sons was.
Verse 3. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz.
Who?
Ashkenaz.
Oh, man. Stop for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Gomer. Gomer derives from the root word Gomer. And I want y'all to follow me. and how all this properly lined up. Way back in the days of Noah, they knew what was going on. Gomer derived from the root word gamar, meaning to complete or to bring to an end. Now, what did he bring to an end? What did he complete? Watch this, family. Gomer as a people group. Gomer is also the name of a son of Japhet, one of Noah's sons, mentioned in the Tablet of Nations in Genesis 10. The descendants of Gomer are traditionally associated with, now y'all listening? The Cimmerians, an ancient people who lived in what is now known as South Russia and the Ukraine. Do y'all follow what I'm saying?
Okay.
They now live in South Russia and the Ukraine. These people lived in the coldest regions of the earth. Gomer had a son, and his name was Ashkenaz. Read on, please. About Ashkenaz. And oh no, I'm supposed to read on. Let me read on. He had a son named Ashkenaz, he had a son named Repha, and he had a son named Togarmah. Let's read up on Repha for a minute. Now, Repha, the name Repha is of uncertain origin. Now, I want y'all to notice because it keeps a commonality when it speaks about each one of his sons. Possibly derived from a root word meaning to crush or to heal. The variant Dephath appears to some manuscripts and translator like due a scriptural error or dialectal variation. The usage for Repha is a name found in a genealogy of the Bible, specifically as a descendant of Japhet and of Noah's sons. It is used to denote a person or a people, possibly a tribe or a nation associated with the descendants of Japhet. Listen to this. Cultural and historic background. Repha is mentioned in the Table of Nations in Genesis 10, which outlines the descendants of Noah, son of the nations that emerged from them after the flood. The Table of Nations is significant for understanding the ancient world's ethnic and geographical division. Why was it important? To understand where these people came from, their ethnicity, and their geographical locations. So now, what this is saying is that the Germanic people was a people who came from Japhet. Y'all follow me so far? Through all of his descendants, they inhabited Europe, parts of Asia, and that whole region of the earth. Watch this. The Table of Nations is significant. Repha is traditionally associated with the people of the ancient region of Anatolia or around the Black Sea, possibly linked to Riphaean mountains mentioned in classical sources. Now, the last one named is Togarmah. Togarmah, corresponding to the Greek Hebrew entities, there is no direct Greek equivalent to Togarmah in the Strong Greek Dictionary, as it is a proper noun, referring to a person or a people group. It is often associated with a region or tribe known for its trade and military alliances. Did you notice that how each one of his descendants was responsible or noted for some type of destruction, separation, catastrophic thing? They're just known for destruction. And if you know the date, they still are. Togarmah is traditionally considered to be a descendant of Japhet. Historically, Togarmah is, now watch this, family. Togarmah is associated with the Arameans or other ancient tribes in that area. The people of Togarmah was known for their trade in horses, mules, and other goods, as well as this involvement in military coalition. All of the descendants of Japhet was all about destruction, every one of them. was about taking over, conquering, expanding, taking over, conquering, bringing an end to nations, military, strategic, all this type of stuff. Every one of his sons was about this. Now watch this. The last son of Gomer that we did not mention was a descendant of Japhet, the European nations, Germanic tribes, is Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz was the last one that we did not mention. Some of you might be familiar with that term today, Ashkenazi. This is how the European man describes himself, as an Ashkenazi Jew. He's telling you that his descendants come from Japhet. So why is he claiming to be Shemitic when his descendants come from Japhet? Wait a minute. Let's see what this says. Let's see what it says about Ashkenazi. Now, each one of those sons that I just read about, Rephi, Togarmah, all these sons, they had a whole long history about these people, but not with Ashkenazi. Ashkenaz, they don't have a whole lot of history on them because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to think that they're not out of Shem. Let me tell you what they say about Ashkenaz. They say he's the son of Shem, also his descendant in their land. Ashkenaz, proper name, masculine, a descendant of Japhet. Then it says, number 2, a northern people. People of the north. I had to dig deeper to try to find some more information on Ashkenaz because they didn't want to give up too much information on Ashkenaz. People, I need y'all to listen because this is some important stuff. All this information on everyone else, but on Ashkenaz, almost no information is involved. According to the Encyclopedia Biblicana, Ashkenaz must have been one of the migrant people which in the time of Esarhaddon burst upon the northern province of Asia Minor and upon Amina. One branch of this great migrant also appears to have reached Lake Umayyah. Look at all this stuff they're talking about for Ashkenaz. For in the revolt which Esarhaddon chastised Amina, who lived in the southwest of that lake, sought to help the Ispaki in the land of Asguz, a name originated perhaps Asguza, which is none of this got nothing to do with nothing that we're talking about. Dilma need to hinder us from identifying with Ashkenaz and form considered as that of the horde from the north. They also mention that they are of Idumean Germanic origin. Ashkenaz are of Germanic origin and settled in the South Lake Urania. Now I had to do a lot of research and find out about Ashkenaz. So they gave me 2 different places where I can go and find out about Ashkenaz and who he was as a people. Now I would have to pull those places up to go pull them out to read them, which would take this lesson even much longer. So I don't want to get into that. Keep in mind, they admitting that Japheth's children inhabited the whole northern region of the earth. In Germany, Russia, all those cold regions is where they were. And in here, when they're describing Ashkenaz, they say they considered the horde from the north of Indo-Germanic origin. So they're Germans in nationality. Am I right so far? Y'all with me so far?
Okay.
All right. So in order for me to present this lesson to you correctly, even though we want to try to hurry up and get through things, I can't move too fast. To present this lesson to you correctly. Who is that turning? Even though we want to try to hurry up and get through things, I can't move too fast. To present this lesson to you correctly. Who is that turning? Even though we want to try to hurry up and get through things, I can't move.
Is it okay if I ask a question? I can't hear you right. You're on mute.
Nope, can't hear you.
Yeah, I was scared that they was trying to disrupt us again. I don't know how that just happened.
You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm still on mute?
Nope, can't hear you.
They're
It was
they're
trying to.
doing something weird. They're doing something weird. It's not someone's playing open or something weird. It's not someone's playing open or something weird.
You see this? This is how they do it. Can y'all hear?
It's not someone's playing open or something weird.
You see this? This is how they do it. Can y'all hear?
It's not someone's playing open or something weird.
You see this? This is how they do it. Can y'all hear?
It's not someone's playing open or something weird.
You see this? This is how they do it. Did it stop? Did it stop, family? Can I be heard? Did it stop? Did it stop, family? Can I be heard? Did it stop? Did it stop, family? Can I be heard? Did it stop? Did it stop, family?
Yeesh, you was going in on them Ashkenazis, huh?
Did it stop? Did it stop, family?
Yeesh, you was going in on them Ashkenazis, huh?
Did it stop? Did it stop, family?
Yeesh, you was going in on them Ashkenazis, huh?
Did it stop? Did it stop, family?
Yeesh, you was going in on them Ashkenazis, huh?
Did it stop? Did it stop, family?
Could you possibly speak through Matthias?
Can I be heard?
Could you possibly speak through Matthias?
Can I be heard? Can I be heard?
Could you possibly speak?
Can I be heard, family?
Kane.
Can I be heard?
Kane.
Okay. See, let me tell you something. These people did that intentionally to try to disrupt this lesson. We were getting too deep. We was dropping their secrets, man. They didn't want this to happen. I'm telling you, what we doing right now is some power. I wouldn't be surprised if they deleted our video. It wouldn't surprise me because that's what they do whenever you reveal something like this to the world. Let me pull up what I went to go get for you guys. Please give me a second because I'm going to teach this lesson. If they don't like it, then, you know, it is what it is. Let me see if I can share this some type of way. Let me see if I can share this some type of way for us. Just give me 1 second. Where am I? Oh boy. They did their thing to us, y'all. They did their thing. They don't want us. Well, I'm gonna have to read from one book. I wanted to show y'all what it was that matter of fact, maybe I can go this way. Maybe I can. This is what I wanted to pull up. Okay. All right. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull up my lesson here in Wikipedia. What I wanted to read today. All right. No. Let me see. Yeah. All right. Here we go. They're trying to prevent us from getting this information out there. They don't want y'all to know these things. Ashkenazi, the people that call themselves the people of the book, are imposters. They are a Germanic origin. They're not us. But yet, so can y'all hear me? Everyone can hear me?
Cain.
We don't know who we are. For a lot of us, we don't know who we are. But we need to find out who we are. And for those of us who don't know, we're going to share with you who you are as a people. This man wrote a book, and he wasn't the first one who wrote a book. His name was Arthur Kessler. The name of the book is The 13th Tribe, and you all should try to get a copy of this book so you can understand what's being said and written in this book. The 13th Tribe is a 1977 book by Arthur Kessler advocating the Khazars' hypothesis of Ashkenazi ancestry. What is he saying? He's saying that the Ashkenazis are the Khazarim. Watch this. Ashkenazi Jews are not descendants from the historical Judean and Israelites of antiquity. He's proving the fact that those people who call themselves Shemitic, as a matter of fact, they don't call themselves Shemitic, they call themselves Semitic. Semitic is a language. Shemitic is a nationality. They don't call themselves Shemitic, they call themselves Semitic because they speak a Semitic language. They know they're not the people of the book. So technically, to be correct, they don't call themselves Shemitic. If they were to call themselves anything, it should be Yaphetic. That's what they should call themselves, Yaphetic, because their descendants come from Yaphet. They left something on record. They call themselves Ashkenazi. That's giving you a hint right there as to their origin. Let's see. The thesis that Ashkenazi Jews are not descended from the historical Judean and Israelites of antiquity, but from Khazars, a Turkish people who allegedly mass converted to Judaism. Kofler hypothesized that the Khazars, after their conversion in the 8th century, migrated westward into Eastern Europe. Wait a minute. Where did they say Ashkenazi settled in? What land was that Ashkenazi settled in? Anybody know? Germany, Russia, countries of Europe. All over Europe is where they went. All those different nations in Europe is where Ashkenazi went. And it's been prophesied many years ago. Kessler used previous works by Douglas Morton Dunlop. Now, these three people that we're about to mention, write their names down. Do the research on these people. Every one of them wrote the same similar history. But you know what? The mysterious thing is that after Kessler wrote this book, they found him dead. Killed him. Somebody killed him. Somebody took his life and we don't know who did it. They found him dead after he wrote this book because they had something to preserve and they didn't want the world knowing this information. Kessler used previous works by Douglas Morton Dunlop, Raphael Patel, and Abraham Pollock as sources. His stated intent was by disproving its racial bias. Popular reviews on the book was mixed. Academic critics of his research was generally negative and cultural biographers. David, these people, they wanted to go against what Kosler was saying. Okay, here go the contents of his book. Kosler advances that the thesis that Ashkenazi Jews are not descendants of the historical Israelites of antiquity, but from Khazars, a Turkish people originated in the population of the empire north and between the Black Sea. We just read about the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea. We just read about these two places, that's where Ashkenazi went. Kessler hypothesized, and this was all written in the Bible thousands of years before these people did this. But it was prophesying that these people, Ashkenazi descendants, will go into these places. It was prophesied thousands of years ago, and it came to be true. Kosler hypothesis is that the Khazars, who converted to Judaism in the 8th century, migrated western into current Eastern European, primarily into Ukraine, Poland, Belarus, Lithuania, Hungary, and Germany in the 12th and the 13th centuries, when the Khazar Empire was collapsing. What did that prophecy say about Japhet? Japhet shall be enlarged, and he should dwell in the tents of Shem. Japhet, Ashkenazi is Japhet, and they dwell in our land as us. They have taken over our identity. They don't just live in our house, they live in our whole region, our name, our culture. They have become us. At the end of the book, the last chapter, Kosler summarizes contest as his intentions as follows. In part one of this book, I have attempted to trace the history of the Khazar Empire based on the scant existing sources. In part two, chapter 5, I have compiled the historical evidence which indicates that the bulk of Eastern Jewry and hence of the world Jewry is of Khazar Turkish rather than Shemitic origins. In the last chapter, I have tried to show the evidence from anthropology concurrences with history in refuting the popular belief in a Jewish race descended from the biblical tribe. Maddox Gardell writes that Kosler thesis is partly based on amateur anthropology, and this, they trying to defame him. They're trying to take him down. They're trying to destroy him. But there are a lot of people who have written to support him. So we're going to leave this alone for now. And we're going to deal with any questions, any comments. And if there are no questions and comments, we're going to close out our class. Are there any questions, family? I had to cut it short because I promised you it wouldn't be too long. The class wouldn't be too long. It's actually 6:30, and I didn't want it to go too far, but it could. I can keep on. I can keep reading. It's a lot more information.
I have a question.
Yes.
The part where you talked about Peleg being the first Hebrew, can you explain that a little bit? Because if he was, what do you mean by he was the first Hebrew? Because if he had brothers, wouldn't they also be Hebrew?
I didn't say Peleg was the first Hebrew.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm saying the name.
If I did, please forgive me. Eber was.
Oh.
Yes?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The word Hebrew in Hebrew is Eber or Ibri. The root word of Ibri is Eber. We come from Eber. Eber is a great grandfather of Abraham. And we know that Abraham was a great grandfather of Yisrael, Jacob. So we come from Eber. The Hebrews come out of Eber. Everybody that's Hebrew is not necessarily Israelite. But in Israel, all Israelites are out of Eber, Hebrews. Does that clear it up any better for you?
So Eber's brothers were not Hebrew?
Eber's brothers.
If he had brothers?
Eber's brothers was not Hebrew. No, they didn't come out of Eber. How's his brothers going to be Hebrew if he's the progenitor of the Hebrew race? Eber himself was the first Hebrew. Everybody out of Eber were Hebrew because they were descendants of Eber. So Eber's brothers would not be Hebrew, no. Just Eber and all of his children after him.
So he was basically the one who started like speaking the language.
No, he didn't start speaking the language. People spoke the language. He spoke the same language. Hebrew is a dialect of the Canaanite language. Hebrew is not our own original language. We got that from the Canaanites. Remember I talked about the Canaanites and the Phoenicians going around trading? And the language, you probably would you sleep?
No, I heard it, Abba. Yes.
All right. Because I know sometimes you fall off because the baby's there. I understand. So, I was just asking. Had you fallen asleep, it would be cool. But I would understand. But all this stuff was explained. But if you have any other questions, please ask them and I'll try to answer them. Canaanite, the language that we use that we call Hebrew, didn't come from our original descendants. It came from Ham's descendants, the Canaanites. We use a Canaanite language. Our people spoke Aramaic. Later on, Hebrew became a language. It's called the Canaanite language. And we used it. And it became a portion of our language. We do have a slightly different dialect of it than what they use, but it is originally from the Canaanites. It's a borrowed language from the Canaanites. All right?
Okay, ta-da.
All right. Now, don't be afraid to ask any questions. If you have questions, please ask them, because this is the place and the time to do so. But it's amazing how they just did all that to shut us down. How they just attacked my whole microphone, my page, and everything so that we couldn't bring out that information because they didn't want us to. It's a fact. And now, I don't know if we really only got 4 people in the room, but according to this, we got 4 people still listening. Wow. Who knows? All right. Are there any other questions? I don't even know if I'm able to. I don't even know if y'all can really even type in the room. I don't know what's going on. I think I have lost control of this thing right now. Chief Mola, yes. Mr. Otter. Mr. Otter says, Moray Cares. Moray Cares. Where you guys located? I asked you a long time ago to get my number from your brother so you can call me so I can give you all the information that you need. Please do so. All right. Are there any? All right. Are there any other questions or comments, family? Is there any announcements we need to make tonight? All right. Now we had a whole class. Wonderful. Peaceful love. May the Most High bring blessings of peace upon your life, you and your family. And you guys can come out anytime. We're here every Shabbat. We have one class in the morning at 11 o'clock. We have another class at 4 o'clock, 4:30. Depends on how long the other class goes. What you have to do is you have to go in and like and ring the bell on and share if you can on the YouTube page. And then every time we go live, it'll send you a notification. Yeah, say notify me. Hit the notify me button, and that'll automatically send you a notification when to come to class. But this is what we do every Shabbat. And also you can subscribe to the channel. All right. May the Most High be praised. All right. Are there any other questions or comments, family? Any other questions or comments? We're going to be closing this out now. They did a number on us today by shutting us down in the manner that they did. Huh? Yeah. Oh, you want to do it? You want me to do it? I thought you said you wanted to do it. No? Yeah. Okay. Just making sure we're on the same page. All right, we're going to make prayer now. We're going to close this out.
Oh, Heavenly Father, Father of all things, we come before you, prostrating ourselves, begging for your permission to approach unto your holy throne. We thank you, Creator, to come before you. We thank you, O Creator, for the lesson that you allowed Elder Zaquin Elnathan to bring forward today, and for allowing my each Prince of Turner to bring forward this evening, this era. Most High, we thank you for the knowledge which is wit and wisdom that they both have shared. And we ask, O Most High, that you have allowed us to gain from what they have shared. Most High, we thank you for all those that are here physically and over the stream, O Creator, in the different places they dwell. We ask that you be with each and every one of us, O Most High. Be with us in our goings and comings. Be with us, O Most High, that when we walk out of our house, O Most High, that you are protecting us when we're out there in the world. Most High, we know that we are in a place, O Most High, where some of us don't know what time it is. And those of us who do, O Creator, are still stagnant and getting prepared. Most High, I ask if it be your will that you work with us, that you gird us, O Most High, that those who are in fear, O Most High, that you help them to release that fear. Because there's no place for fear in this world of war, O Creator. Most High, I ask that you be with all those who are at a heavy heart at this time, O Most High. That you be with the sick, the shut-in, those who are in prison unjustly. Be with the unsheltered, the fatherless, and the widow. And if it be your will, O Most High, heal the sick, free the innocent, and cover those in need with righteous covering, O Creator, with strong dwellings, O Most High. Most High, I ask that you be with all of our yellow beings in all the places that they dwell. Strengthen them, gird them, guard them, guide them, O Most High. When they cry out unto you, O Most High, for be your will, answer them. When we all cry out unto you, O Most High, for be your will, answer us. We thank you, Creator, for our elders that are in the midst of us and allowing us to sit at their feet at this time to gain from them, to cleave unto them, O Most High, with the things that they have to give unto us. O Creator, in a selfish cry, I ask, O Most High, that you be with my Abba. And I know that your will be done, O Creator. So I don't ask for anything that I don't have control over, O Creator. I just ask, O Most High, that in this time, in this very moments of time, in this journey, that you strengthen each and every one of us that are being affected by his illness and by whatever comes, Creator. That even in the brokenness that we may feel, Creator, that we call unto you in those times, O Most High. We thank you, Creator, for all things and everything. We thank you for your Shabbat day. We thank you for all those who adhere to your voice, O Most High, your voice alone. We all say, Toda Rabbah, Most High, for all things and everything. Toda, Abi, Toda Rabbah, Selah.
God be praised. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you, those of us who stayed in and hung in there and went through all the pain with us. May the Most High be with you. And Ishi, if I was a little short with you, please forgive me, because it wasn't my intentions to be short with you. So, I guess you can call me if we have any other things to discuss. Right?
It's all right. I understand. Hold.
So may the Most High be with you all. May the Most High protect you all. And thank you all for spending your Shabbat day with us. To the Most High be the glory forever and forever. Toda Rabbah. Shalom, shalom, family.
Shalom, shalom.
Wow.